The KwaZulu-Natal police have urged communities to report suspicious activities to authorities. This after 2 suspects were killed in a shootout with Mariannhill officers near Durban. Police acted on a tip-off that criminals were hiding in a rented property. Newzroom Afrika's Karinda Jagmohan reports.
In the early hours of Wednesday morning, police approached this house in the heart of Mariannhill.
There was an exchange of gunfire, and during that shootout, the 2 occupants, only 2 occupants in that house were fatally wounded. Police went inside, they found that there was only 2 occupants and there was 2 firearms on that scene.
Crime has been on the rise in this suburb.
People being held up at their homes, and they noticed that in this house there were strange movements, people going and coming, odd hours, unknown people, people that they don't know. So police, they passed that information on to police.
The shootout is among several similar police operations in eThekwini in recent months. Police have warned about criminals renting homes to hide out among law-abiding citizens.
Especially in Mariannhill, we've noticed that trend, that criminals use houses in this area as a base to operate from, where they commit crimes even in other areas. I think we had a massacre where there were 7 people killed, and those were hitmen, and they were using that house, and obviously there was a fallout amongst them, and then 7 of them were killed by their own. So we find that there's a trend here, and in other suburbs in KZN, where people hire their houses out to criminals. We saw that in KwaMashu, where cash-in-transit robbers were housed in a house in KwaMashu. But fortunate for us here, the community has come forward, and the neighbors have noticed the strange being, reported it to police. As we always say, if you see something, say something, and in this case it has assisted us.
Meanwhile, the death of Warrant Officer Stembiso Mazibuko has seemingly been avenged. The National Intervention Unit policeman was killed last week during a shootout with notorious criminals in Duzuma. On Tuesday, police officers tracked down one of the suspects.
That operation was carried out by the Hawks and the National Intervention Unit. They had information that some of the suspects that escaped that initial shooting were back in the area, and in Nanda specifically, and that intelligence was also operationalized, and when they approached the house they also came under fire. Fortunately, I'm told that nobody was injured there also, and the suspect was fatally wounded, and a firearm was recovered in his possession.
For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Karinda Jagmohan in Durban.